Welcome to the Tech Support Guy Show, episode 49, for Sunday, November 13th, 2011. Things you don't really need for the holidays.
Welcome to the Tech Support Guy Show. I'm Mike Cermak, known on the site as Tech Guy, and with me today is Brian Hansen.
Buenos dias.
Who is always full of energy, and I appreciate you being here, Brian. Unfortunately, Dan and Jacob weren't available today, but hopefully they will be here next time. And next time, before I forget, will be the second Sunday in December. That'll be Sunday, December 11th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So around 1 p.m. Eastern on December 11th, if you don't have anything better to do, and what is there better to do than to watch us create this program, you can go to techguy.tv to find out more about that and to join us live, as Ecom and a couple of other guests are doing right now in the chat room.
If there is something better to be doing right now, we would be doing it.
Did I really just have Flash crash on me?
It looks like you did.
That's
the Ustream has gone dead.
You know, it's interesting because now every window that I have open, which is several, all have the little Chrome unhappy face. Kind of looks like the old Mac unhappy face. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get in here and restart that. And I'm going to keep this going, man. I mean,
yeah. Well, there's back. It's an interesting segue into one of the three articles that we want to hit real quick.
That's why I had Flash crash, was in order to create that beautiful, smooth segue.
Yeah.
So I would say, just based on that experience right there, that perhaps the time for Flash is up. Maybe we need to move on to new technology. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in. HTML5 has been catching up, and things will win.
It has indeed, and I guess it has won, really. The article we're discussing here is that Adobe has officially announced that they're going to kill off... oops, I have to log in again. Look at that. I'm trying to post my articles into the chat room for those who are trying to watch live, even though apparently it's not going to cooperate, but there we go. That should get it up and running. So anyhow, the article is that Adobe is officially killing off Flash, and they have kind of, in a pretty official way, pointed to Apple as the main reason for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was I'll have to find the exact quote here, but basically, Apple has not allowed Adobe to create Flash on iOS, and is never going to let them do that. They believe in HTML5, and I think there was a lot of other things going on behind the curtains there. And as a result, Adobe's finally given up on Flash, and they're going to push more towards HTML5. I guess in order to stay relevant, they're going to have to, I'm sure they already have been, but they're going to have to become the leading development tools for HTML5. Otherwise, they still have Photoshop and a bunch of other things, but if they're going to try and stay relevant in web development, because they've kind of been on top as far as a lot of programming goes. I mean, if you wanted to do a lot of animation or games or video streaming or a lot of other things, you would use Flash. So,
yeah. Well, now, Mike, let me clarify, because the article that we're referencing is specific to mobile devices. Have they officially announced that they're going to end of life the whole thing?
No, I don't believe they have. However, I think that it's only a matter of time.
Right.
I mean, if they're killing it on mobile devices, then
sure. Why would you build websites that can only be seen by 20% of your devices?
Exactly right. I mean, and because mobile devices obviously is growing, desktop devices is obviously shrinking. So I think that that's just going to be a matter of time. Here is the actual article here, and the quote from Mike Chambers, a lead product manager for Flash, said, and this is a quote, "This one should be pretty apparent, but given the fragmentation of the mobile market and the fact that one of the leading mobile platforms, Apple iOS, was not going to allow the Flash player in the browser, the Flash player was not on track to reach anywhere near the ubiquity of the Flash player on desktops. Just to be very clear on this, no matter what we did, the Flash player was not going to be available on Apple iOS anytime in the foreseeable future." And so they said that, combined with the strong support for HTML5 across modern browsers, was enough to drive the final nail into Flash's coffin. So it's, I think Flash is going to be pretty well dead now. So
yeah, frankly, good riddance. I've never had any piece of software that needed to be updated as often as the Adobe Flash.
That is so true. It is
Isn't
so
it?
ridiculous.
Like,
about
every 2 weeks, update your Flash player. I don't give a that word.
I appreciate the censor there, but and most other software like that does it in the background and doesn't pop up and bother you about it all the frickin' time. Like if it's a big upgrade or if they need to change the license agreement, that's different. They have to pop it up. But geez, for little security updates or whatever, you would think they would not have to hassle you as often.
Yeah, I agree. It's well, so what about all of the games that are on Facebook and crap like that, Farmville and those types of things? Those were not at all dependent on any sort of Flash.
I have no idea, to be honest. I've never played Farmville. I don't play any games, actually, with the huge exception of StarCraft 2, which doesn't really enter into this conversation, but I am a huge StarCraft 2 nerd. Otherwise, I really don't play any games whatsoever.
Let me pause on that 1 second. I met a woman this week at training. Her son named his daughter Kerrigan.
Tell me it was a coincidence.
I was really gonna ask her, is your son a huge nerd and does he play a lot of video games? But I had just met her and she's a work colleague, so I stayed away. But I was like, oh, he's totally a brother when it comes to video games.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I don't think I'm going to go to that extent, but I do enjoy the game quite a bit. That said, I'm not sure if the games in Facebook run on Adobe Flash. If they do, I don't think it's a big deal. I think they're going to get switched over to HTML5, which would probably make the Farmville people even happier because then they can play it on their mobile devices.
Right. Well, as far as I know, the apps, obviously, for Farmville and stuff like that are not Flash-based at all, but I didn't know if the web-based components of those games were dependent on Adobe playing nice.
It wouldn't surprise me a whole lot, but I honestly don't know either way. So,
well, good riddance. Like we said, no more updates to Adobe Flash Player 10.1.2.1.2.
Well, and I think there is a nice advantage to switching to HTML5 because it is going to be a standard. It's going to be built into the browsers. The problem is how standardized it'll be, because the problem we've always had with browsers, especially Internet Explorer, is that they don't play by the standards. They make up their own rules, and whenever you program a website, you have to do weird little tweaks to make it look the same in every browser, because every browser interprets some code a little bit differently. And so if that's the case in HTML5, then that would be a real pain, but hopefully they will adhere to some strict standards and solve a lot of headaches before they happen.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, man. Let's hope it happens.
All right, next story.
Next story, Google Music. This one is new to me. I did not even know about a Google Music service.
Yes, so there's been rumors of a Google Music service for quite a while. In fact, there's been people posting screenshots of websites that pop up for an hour or two and then disappear. That kind of gave hints that Google, and actually there was an Android help page that said you can download music to your Android doing this, or click here for the Google Music Store. And then that quickly got rectified. And there were all sorts of little hints that this was coming. And it's still not official. But according to CNET, they've gotten inside sources that say that Google Music is going to launch, but that they haven't come to an agreement with a lot of the large music companies, the large music groups. So
right, or
record companies, I should say.
Yeah, it sounds like they have signed a deal, a licensing agreement with Universal Music Group, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where the Beatles sits, and so it's that family of music. But then Sony Music is out, and the Warner Music Group is out, and doesn't sound like we know about EMI. So of the four major giant super labels, they've got 25% of them. It does sound like the industry is actually hoping that Google Music will catch on and become a serious competitor to iTunes and maybe add some price competition into the whole licensing agreement thing. But I don't know if that really is going to work. I'm thinking out loud, right? If you have an Apple iPhone, you're still going to be able to access the Google stuff. But if you already have all of your stuff on iTunes as it is, you're not going to convert, at least I'm not going to convert over to Google Music just so I can access it with whatever device I want.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as long as Apple keeps spitting out the coolest devices that I want anyway.
Yeah, and the question will be if there's a separate app that needs to be run in order to download music from Google Music, is Apple going to allow that to be up in the Apple Store? Because they've been known in the past for, not allowing competing apps to show up in the App Store. Apps that compete with functionality already on the phone.
Uh-huh.
I think that is still one of their rules, if I'm not mistaken. So that being the case, I'm not sure if Google's going to be able to get into the Apple iPhone very easily. But there's still a large crowd of people who use other platforms. And, I think some people, I don't know what they're going to do as far as the DRM goes. I know a lot of people prefer to buy music from companies like Amazon. Amazon has their own online music store, Amazon MP3. And the advantage there is that it's not DRM'd. It doesn't have the digital right management. So you actually get an MP3 file that you can then play on any device, rather than having to get it on Apple's goofy format where you then have to log in order to play it, and then maybe you can transfer it to another device if they let you, and you can only have so many of those devices licensed for that particular account at any given time, and it's just a big hassle. And then you have to back up your license, or if you lose your hard drive and you don't have your license backed up, then you don't have the music anymore, and it's just
Apple's trying to take some of that away. They launched iTunes in the cloud earlier this summer, and so you should now never have to worry about ever losing your hard drive and therefore losing your music library. All of your licenses to play what you've uploaded into the cloud should exist. But I know I personally, unless it automatically did it for me, I haven't done it to upload it into the cloud. So.
Well, and I think that we've always been of the opinion that more competition is good. So, I mean, even though Amazon already has it and Apple already has it, and I suspect there's many other places you can legally download music, Google trying to push it, maybe they have a chance.
Yeah.
It almost feels a little bit like Google trying to compete with Facebook, with Google Plus, which I feel was, kind of a failure. It's like a Me Too kind of thing, and I'm not sure what they're bringing to the table that's going to make them any better than what's already out there. But of course, they haven't made any real announcements yet, so it's hard to say. I guess their announcement, according to this invite that's posted on CNET, is going to be on Wednesday, the 16th. So we'll probably know a lot more after that. Right. But it'll be interesting to watch and see.
Yeah, I think if anybody has a chance of being a serious competitor to Apple, I mean, one of the only internet brands I can think of that is more ubiquitous than Apple is Google.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in pretty much every part of my life, both of them. So, if there's anybody that can make a go of it, it would be these guys, as long as the industry and they can learn to play along a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool.
All right. Next story.
What was the next one?
Well, the next one that has actually come into my life a little bit is the hard drive prices skyrocket. And anyone who's gone to buy a hard drive recently will be shocked at the price, because it used to be very cheap to buy a hard drive. I mean, you could go out and get a 500 gig or terabyte hard drive for $100 or less, and that's not really the case anymore. I mean, they are really expensive. We went to buy I'm trying to remember what size I was getting, a 500 gig, I think, and it was, I don't know, $189 or something, and it was and that's through Newegg, through not a retail store. So the prices have really skyrocketed. This isn't an exaggeration. And from what I've been reading, it's supposed to get worse before it gets better. They say that it's going to continue through the fourth quarter of this year, and probably even into the first quarter next year. So I don't know how accurate all that is, but. And the rumor is, or the story, I guess, is, not the rumor, is that the cause of this skyrocketing prices is a flood in Thailand.
Right. Which, in my capitalist thinking, they should have insurance for that crap. That is not like act of God stuff. Should not be passed immediately on to the consumer. I don't know how recent the floods were. I'll be honest. That is news that has not made my radar.
It wouldn't have made mine either, if not for the pricing. So even if they were to have some insurance for this, though, if there is a limited supply of hard drives, then there is a limited supply of hard drives, right?
True. That is true. If it's truly a supply and demand thing that is caused by just a shortfall in supply, but one does question why Thailand is. I mean, because we're talking about, according to lifehacker.com, there's a Western Digital 2 terabyte desktop hard drive that has jumped from $70 on October 11th to $150 as of November 1st. So you're talking about a 110%, or somewhere around that 114% price increase.
What a geek!
In a month. And how could a flood in Thailand, even for Western Digital, even if they have all of their stuff in Western Digital, I don't get how that immediately translates to 114% price increase to the consumer.
Well, and of course, I'm sure this goes with the whole just-in-time inventory that, they don't. It's not like they have warehouses full of hard drives. I mean, they do, but you know what I mean. They don't have months worth of hard drives, and I'm sure that's part of it. One article I read said that only 25% of the hard drives come from Thailand. So if that's the case, you would think it wouldn't be that big of a bump, but still, I guess 25% is 25%, and people need hard drives.
Yeah.
So and so this has also gone into. I've read some articles that said that this could make a difference in computer sales for the holidays. How's
Sure.
Man? I'm really doing good transitions here, aren't I? Yeah. But anyhow, that was unintentional. But seriously, they say that computers are not going to be really cheap like they have been at other times during the holidays because of this hard drive crisis. And I'm sure that there are still going to be plenty of cheap computers out there, especially netbooks and so on. But it's interesting. I don't know if that can make that big of a difference.
Well, and in this article on Lifehacker, it mentions that it might be a good time to start looking at solid state drives, which are made elsewhere and weren't affected by the floods.
There you go.
So if people start shifting over there in droves, then those prices will obviously go as well.
Supply and demand.
So keep an eye on it. The article actually mentions a site called Camel, which I've never used before, but it is a free Amazon price tracker. So you can sign up for an alert on the product that you want, and have Camel tell you when it hits a certain target or when it's increasing or decreasing.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I thought it's pretty great service. If you're a big Amazon shopper or looking for stuff that seems to be fluctuating in price a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never seen that.
So this seems to be talking a lot about hard drives that go into desktops or laptops.
Correct.
Is this affecting? I assume it would equally affect the portable hard drives. I'm in the market for a portable backup.
Okay. Yes, external hard drives are also affected.
All right.
Yep. So they are very. In fact, we have one that we used to sell for I think $129 in the shop, which I think was a 2 gigabyte, and now it's $189 or something.
2 terabyte, you mean?
Yeah. No, 2 gigabyte. This is 1990.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So you may want to hold off on that, or maybe you don't. If the prices do continue to skyrocket for the next couple of months, maybe you want to do it today. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or shop around to some store that doesn't know that prices are about to skyrocket.
Yeah,
I have heard of people going to. Sorry to step on you there. I have heard of people going to Staples and places like that and running out there and buying up their inventory of hard drives before the prices jump.
Yeah, I have. I've been shopping around at Costco and at Target in the last couple of months, and I've been waiting for something to go on sale and be able to get a Seagate 1 terabyte GoFlex for less than $80, and hasn't happened yet. But I have noticed a rather small amount of inventory in all the stores I've checked. So could be a lot of people out there planning to price gouge, like the guy near me who decided to buy a bunch of generators when the power went out a couple of weeks ago and sell them on eBay for $5,000 a piece.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Hey, it's the open market, right? What's wrong with that?
It is.
It's capitalism.
Yes, it's also price gouging. It's capitalism, but it is also price gouging, which is not necessarily a good thing to do. Definitely not a nice guy thing to do.
I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah. Speaking of nice guys, maybe we can go on to our last bit here about Santa. He seems to be a pretty nice guy.
I've heard of him.
And we should talk about holiday gifts. I know we're unfortunately already in the holiday mode.
Man, how did that happen?
All
of the stores are playing holiday music. It's I mean, we're here already. We're in the middle of freaking November. Man.
Well, and I was just in Macy's last weekend, and they were having like Black Friday level sales and discounts on stuff.
On hard drives?
No.
At Macy's?
Drives, not at Macy's.
Oh.
Although, I will mention this. I was thinking about this as a potential story. Macy's is the first place I've seen where you could actually pay for something at the cash register with your Google Wallet, meaning the normal credit card scanner there. But you could hold your Google Wallet app up to your phone, your phone up to the thing, and it would scan your code and charge you Google Wallet. I think that's how it works. I actually don't know because I don't have.
That's pretty cool.
But I thought maybe that was something that will actually catch on and be good. I don't know. But yeah, so we're here talking about the holidays already. Damn it. Let's talk wish lists. What are you in the market for? What are you buying? You're obviously not buying hard drives right now. But what would you want for Christmas?
I wouldn't put a hard drive on my list right now, I don't think. But I don't know what would be on my list. A couple things that came to mind. One thing that I really like is it sounds goofy, but I think you have to use one or see one to believe it. But an all-in-one remote. Have you ever? Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you a minute. Now this is not any all-in-one remote. The one I'm specifically going to mention, they have some lower ones. The one I'm specifically going to mention is retail price is $350.
The Logitech one?
Yeah, on sale now from Logitech for only $189, and you can probably find it cheaper elsewhere. But it's the Logitech Harmony line, and the one I like is the Logitech Harmony 900. Oh, this is a refurbished one. That's why it's a little cheaper, or a lot cheaper. But it looks like it's $200 for a new one. So what was that, $10 more? What did I say the other one was? Anyhow, that's crazy. But it is a really nice remote.
A really nice remote.
For for $200, you would hope so. I'll see if I can put up a little screenshot here while I'm talking about it. What's nice about it is that unlike most universal remotes, you can actually go in and program series of things for it to do. So, for example, if I hit the button that says Watch TV, it will know whether or not the TV is currently on and everything else. And if it isn't, it'll turn on the TV. Then it'll automatically turn on the receiver, and it'll switch the receiver to the cable box, and it'll turn on the cable box, and it does all of that for you. You don't have to pick up 3 different remotes and hit 6 buttons. You just hit Watch TV, and whenever you're done, you hit the off button, and it then goes through and it turns off all your devices. Or whenever you want to switch to DVD, it makes the appropriate changes to the inputs on all your different devices in order to make it work. And it just makes it a heck of a lot easier because, I mean, it's so complex now. If you have a Blu-ray player and a DVR and a cable box and a receiver for surround sound and a TV and whatever else.
If you're an AV nerd or a member of the AV club, basically.
Well, if you are, then you can control it all. But, I mean, it's not unreasonable for a lot of people these days to have all those things I just mentioned.
Yeah, no. I have been trying for 12 months now to teach my father-in-law how to turn on our TV, then turn on our cable box and watch what he wants to watch.
Right.
He can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
We have it all on one remote.
But he still can't do it.
It's something about the series of button clicks and like why for some reason for him it doesn't seem logical that you hit TV and then power and then hit cable and then power and then you just control the cable box. And so generationally there's a gap. The one thing, so for those of us that are listening, these would be good. This type of an idea would be good for somebody that is a bit of a gadget nerd, and Mike and I both are, so you can buy one for both of us, and who also has people come over and stay with them a lot. Because I find myself actually dreading explaining the remote sequences to house guests that are going to be there using the set. I was actually just staying with my uncle not too long ago, and he showed me all of his series of remotes for the DirecTV, the receiver, the TV, and he's like, yeah, his wife Linda, my aunt Linda, she doesn't understand that. She gets all freaked out when I leave it on the video game setting instead of the TV setting, and she can't fix it. She yells at me. I'm like, okay, so marriages are ending because remotes suck. So I give credit to the folks at Logitech for trying to solve the world's problems with a shiny remote. I think it's a little ridiculous to spend $350 on a programmable one, because you can get an app for your iPhone or iPad that pretty much does the same thing.
You can, but then you also need the RF transmitter, because the built-in RF in iPads and iPhone is not powerful enough. But still, it's cheaper than $350.
That's true.
But you don't want to have to leave your iPhone sitting around in order to let people watch TV, though.
Fair enough.
And what's also cool with these is the way you program them, unlike your traditional remote control where you have to go through and hit 1,000 different buttons and go through and try and guess the product codes and so on in order to program it. You actually plug it into a USB port, and it steps you right through it. It's really easy to set up. It'll come up and it'll say, what brand and model TV do you have? All right, what brand and model receiver do you have? All right, which port is your TV connected to on your receiver? All right, and then it knows whenever you want to watch TV which ones to operate. And of course, you can go in there and do lots of advanced things and customize it and so on. But it's really smart. And the very expensive one, the Harmony 900, actually also supports RF transmission in addition to IR. And it comes with RF receivers that will then translate it into IR. So if you have equipment that is hidden away behind a shelf or behind a cabinet or whatever, you don't have to open that cabinet in order to operate the equipment. It'll transmit it through using RF, which is pretty cool, especially if you have little ones and you want to keep that cabinet closed. And
that is pretty cool. So there are fancy things beyond just the programmable thing about this particular $350 toy. It's rechargeable. Apparently it can replace up to 15 remotes.
Right. Yeah, and the rechargeable thing is cool too.
That has 15 remotes. But sure, go ahead. Go nuts. If you have 15 remotes, you're doing something wrong.
Well, I tell you what, if you have 15 remotes, paying $300 for a remote is not going to be a problem for you.
That's a problem. Yeah, that's true. They are going after the right market. Holy crap!
So that is the high end of remote controls. And
so let's try to get 15. Television, cable box. Assume you have a separate DVR. Stereo / receiver, maybe that's 2 different ones, so I'm at 5. What else
did you have Blu-ray in there? Do you have
Blu-ray player? Blu-ray, DVD player. Maybe I have a regular DVD player, maybe I still carry around a VCR.
Maybe you have a CD changer connected to that receiver so you can listen to
all right. I'm at half my capacity and I'm listening to everything that I have at once.
Some people have computers connected to it. And Roku boxes.
I'm at 11.
I'm trying really hard.
I know you are. You have to try really hard. It's good that they made it up to 15 because there will soon enough be another box. Why all this freaking advancement and we still haven't gotten to the one box that does it all? Actually, we just don't have people smart enough to use them. I think the Media PC was a good idea.
Yeah, well, and the Media PC, that's another thing it also does. It can control. Here are the device categories for you. Televisions, which includes TVs, projectors, monitors, etc. Amplifiers, cable / satellite boxes, video recorders, including VCRs and PVRs and DVD VCRs and etc. DVD players, DVD recorders, etc., Blu-ray, music players, CD jukeboxes, Laserdisc players. Forgot the Laserdisc player.
The Laserdisc. Okay, that's an even dozen.
Digital music servers, radio tuners, mini systems, CD, radio cassette, tape decks, mini disc player, DAT. Everyone uses DAT.
Oh, yeah. I have my DAT.
I have DAT. Game systems, mini systems, computers, media center PCs, home automation. It can control, if you have a home automation system, control lights and climate control and things like that.
All right. Now you're tickling me. Now you're tickling me a little bit. You're tickling the wallet open.
Yeah, right. So you're going to get that $350 remote any day now. Whenever I come over for Thanksgiving, I'll see it there. I guess you won't get it until Christmas, huh?
You know what I wanted to do? I, for some reason, have a remote control fan. Yes, that's right, a fan. One of those things that stands on the ground on a base and turns and just moves the air around.
My wife had one of these when she was in college in her dorm room. She had a remote control fan.
You know what? I spend more time looking for that friggin' remote when I need it than actually it would take me to go over and just push the friggin' button. Yeah. So I want this thing to, once this thing adds fans to its category of technological.
I would bet that you could make it do that. I bet you could train it to send any kind of infrared signal you wanted.
I'll take that bet.
Oh, yeah?
I don't want to spend $350 on this remote and then have to hack into it to control my fan.
No, I don't think you have to hack it. I think you'll have to hit a train button, and then you have to have your other remote and point it at it and say, whatever. Who knows? Maybe it's built in. I don't know.
If it's not built in, and if it is a smart device in that it can learn other signals to send that it doesn't already know, then that's cool.
I think it can.
And that's cool.
Well, I tell you, it says that Harmony supports more than 5,000 brands of devices, 5,000 brands, and over 225,000 devices. Yeah.
Okay. 225. Oof.
That's a lot of devices.
Well, so this is a good gift for Mike.
Hey, what model? What brand name is your fan?
It starts with an H. I think it might be Harmony.
No, that's the remote.
That's the name of this one.
They control. It will support Hampton Bay and Harbor Breeze fans.
It's one of those.
Hawaiian Breeze.
It's definitely one of those.
See, there you go. It's built right in.
Sold. All right, you can get Mike one of those and get me one of those, listeners. That would be wonderful.
All right, so what's on your list? That was my first hot item.
Well, I do a lot of traveling these days for business and more for pleasure now that Kate's getting a little bit older. And I hate getting somewhere and forgetting things. And I don't know what I need to make that 100% foolproof, but there's this thing called the Gridit, that's GRID-IT organizer, which is basically a flat piece of fabric with a whole bunch of elastic bands all over it. And because it's just a bunch of elastic bands, there's no one specific pocket for any one thing, which means you can fit anything and everything that you want on it. And I'm looking at it as a device organizer thing. And then every time I load it up, I can go through my little checklist visually, like, yes, I have my iPhone charger, I have my iPad, I have my phone, I have my, whatever, electric razor, all that jazz. And it's this cool little, sexy, techie nylon fabric type thing, that will just I'll throw it into the middle of my suitcase. And then if I want to check, did I remember this or where is this? I know I just have this one place to go to. I don't have to remember which pocket of the suitcase it's in.
I was trying to figure out how it was going to help you to remember anything.
Well, for me, I'm a visual dude. So if I lay it out in advance and put it all beside the suitcase and then throw it into the suitcase, I'm good. But now that I have a rug rat running around, I rarely have the time to pack in that much of a process. Plus, it's kind of nice. Like if you think about it, because it can actually hold your iPad, or the large version of it can. It's one thing that you can just pull out of your suitcase and throw it on the TSA's conveyor belt and have them scan it for all of the poison and stuff that isn't in there. You pull out that one thing and then boom, you're done. Could make travel a little bit easier for me. It's not going to help me remember everything or whatever.
I like to be organized. I hate having, a bag full of junk. And
Yeah.
what I like about this Grid It thing, and really I should be putting a picture up. I'll work on that here, is that, you can look at it at a glance, and I think that's what you're really saying, and see what you have. It's not as though it's not like you're going to label each spot on it and say, I ought to have whatever device in this little pocket, but it's nice that you can just glance at it and kind of figure out what you have there. And I don't know where else you would use it other than travel. I don't know. I can't picture myself using this.
No?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I
don't know.
Well, I'll put it this way. I don't really need a lot of other things.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. That's why I had to come up with a $300 remote control.
Exactly. You need something in addition to what you already have to organize the crap you already have.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't cost $350 and need to be recharged. And I think it would actually help me not have to replace my iPhone charger every 6 months when I forget it in a hotel room.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But, yeah, so that was something that I thought was cool.
It's interesting. It is. It's funny. I actually was given one of these as a gift of, when they give you all sorts of other junk from a company, and they gave me a little one of these, and I had no idea what the heck it was. Because it has, all of these elastic bands that interweave between each other. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? I never had seen one before and had no idea how it was supposed to be used. And yeah, I think I would have to see you use it on a day-to-day basis to try and figure out how I would use it.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Because what am I going to do with this? So there's a picture of it here. It's got some pens. It's got the a charger. It's got the iPhone. Which
jump drive and
so what do you other than travel, but even travel, so I'm going to put all my stuff in here and then throw it in my bag. I guess it's a little bit more organized that way, but that charger is going to fall out by the time I get to San Francisco. And
no, you got to have some faith in the product. Granted, without seeing it, it's a lot of faith, but I mean, personally, I carry all this stuff with me all the time in a messenger bag. But it's all in separate pockets, and I have to remember where did I put it. I'm checking pockets, and sometimes it's just nice because you could grab everything that you travel with one hand, and know where it is and just feel it. It's all in the same place.
So you would put this thing into your messenger bag?
Yes. Yes. It's a cool little way to organize things of all shapes and sizes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'm digging that.
The more I talk about it, the more I like it.
Yeah, I'm digging that. That might be a good call.
Yeah, and you know what? For $20 or $30, even if I don't use it all as much as I thought or as much as I think I will, or even if it doesn't help me, it's a pretty low risk gift.
Yeah, for sure.
And frankly, it's the only thing that's made my list so far this year.
Yeah, no, that's good.
One of the other items that's on this Life Hacker Top 10 Gadgets You Should Have in Your Go Bag article are these touchscreen friendly gloves. I can say I tried a few early prototypes of these things. They don't freaking work. They do not work. The whatever the haptic thing that whatever it's called, the touch feedback that the iPad and iPhone require cannot be felt through a glove. Just does not work. My personal opinion, save your money. Buy me a Grid It.
Well, one thing they have on this list that I thought was interesting is the space-saving wallet, and they're talking about using clips instead of using wallets. And first of all, I mean, we'll start by saying I think that everyone will agree it is a problem for guys to have a leather wallet with 5 credit cards and an ID and whatever, and membership cards and money and receipts from the last 10 years and whatever else stuffed in there that makes the wallet about as thick as 2 Bibles or something.
It's a Costanza wallet.
Costanza wallet. Well done, good reference. And so they mentioned using money clips and so on. And I've never gotten into money clips. It worries me a little bit. I don't trust them, just like I wouldn't trust your grid system. But I have found a nice one. Let me find the website for it here that I really did like. Big Skinny, that's what it's called. bigskinny.net. Let me throw that in the chat room. And by the way, all of these devices and URLs and everything else we're talking about, we put that in the show notes to make it easy for you. If you're driving down the road, I don't want you trying to write these things down. But if you go to techguy.tv, we have all the past episodes there and a button you can click on for the show notes so that you can go to all of these at your leisure. So Big Skinny this is actually the wallet that I have.
Really?
And
which one do you have? The Taxi Cat bifold, the multi-pocket bifold?
Oh my, hang
the
on.
Monte Cougar? These people need to be marketing people. Come on. Monte Cougar? What is that?
I have the super skinny bifold pocket with vertical pockets.
With horizontal?
Vertical pockets, correct. And that one, super skinny bifold wallet, vertical pockets. That's the one I have, and I really, really like it. And part of the reason is that whenever it's folded shut, and they don't show you a good image of it here, what's nice is that instead of having all of your credit cards in one stack, they're actually separated into two smaller stacks. If you can imagine it, you have to play with it, I think, to see. But it really is cutting the depth of your wallet in half right there, just by the way they have the pockets arranged. And because that whenever that's folded up, it's not folded up in four places. It kind of looks like it is. It's just folded in half.
Yeah.
And so it is really a really cool wallet, actually.
Right. It actually does look pretty cool.
And super, super thin.
Yeah, and this may sound kind of silly to be talking about, having a fat Costanza wallet, and you could just say stop being lazy and clean out a freaking year's worth of receipts every once in a while. And I get that, but I will say for those of us who do have to carry around a lot of crap, because women have these giant purses,
it's so not fair.
Carry anywhere, and then when they do carry it, it's full of makeup and crap that can't help you fight off a bear. It's just there for fashion. It's carrying one tube of lipstick and an extra pair of shoes. So there's actually a health thing here. If you have a giant wallet and you're sitting on your butt, as most of us are during the day, or driving to and from your work, it can actually cause problems with your sciatic nerve, depending on which side you sit on. Mm-hmm. And if you don't rotate that, or you're sitting on it for forever, it can actually misalign your hips, and it can actually become a back problem after 20 or 30 years of sitting on a fat Costanza wallet. So wallet technology does need to catch up with the amount of crap we're carrying around these days.
Well, and I mean, I'm sure that any guy can tell you that you can feel it whenever you have been sitting on your wallet, especially if I'm driving somewhere for 3 or 4 hours, or sitting at an office for a couple. I mean, I will pull my wallet out, and because actually my right, I keep it in my right back pocket, and my leg will start to go numb. I mean, it's no good.
It's a universal problem, dude. It's a universal problem, and we have to fight the fight, and we have to let people know about the super skinny vertical pocket bigskinny.net wallet.
I'm a big fan, actually. I am a big fan. Highly recommended for any guy. I think they will love it once they switch into it. It is remarkable if you put them side by side with a regular wallet, how freaking small they are.
Now, do you find yourself wondering if people take your wallet seriously when you pull it out?
Because it's not made of leather?
Right.
No, I've had a lot of people compliment me on it, because once you unfold it and unleash the power of how many pockets there are in this stupid thing, and it's kind of remarkable. They comment about how many freaking credit cards I have in there, because I have the my personal debit card, my personal credit card, and then my company's credit card, and my other company's credit card, and the debit card for the building down there, and I've got my AAA card, and I've got my membership card for other things, and I'm trying to think of what else is in my it's ridiculous. And then of course I also have the electronic key card that actually opens the doors for the data center and for a lot of the buildings.
Well, and then you need the responsible stuff, right? Like now that you're a dad, especially, you need your insurance cards.
Correct, insurance
cards or whatever you need for health and emergency reasons.
Right.
You need your identification.
Right.
You probably carry around Yeah.
The pilots, I got my pilot's license in there. I've got,
Yeah.
there's something else that was on my list I was thinking of that's in there that's important that I use periodically. And then, of course, you have all of the freaking cards that every store and gas station on the universe use in order to get your little discounts for, buying so many products and whatever else. So you've just got a lot of stuff to carry around. And if you can organize it in such a way that it cuts the height or however you want to measure that, the
Girth.
Good girth. Yeah, the girth of the wallet, by down to a third of its regular size. And still have as much stuff in it. Yeah.
Have what you
Or the other option is to get a purse.
A man purse.
Yeah.
As a man purse convert, I mentioned my messenger bag earlier.
I like messenger bags, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
That's what I use as a diaper bag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
I'm not going to carry around that flowery, thing that Heather has for the diaper bag. So I got a decent messenger bag, and that's what I use as a diaper bag. So, and I've been thinking about getting a second one to actually use as a messenger bag.
Well, that's a good idea. Those things are versatile, and they fit a lot of stuff, and they usually are multi-pocketed. And then when you get your Grit-It for Christmas, you can throw a Grit-It in each of your bags. Like, think about the Grit-It even for your diaper bag, right? That way you know where the kid's nail clippers are, you know where his thermometer is, you know where his vitamins are, you know his Tylenol is, you know where the wipes are, you know where the Q-tips are. There are a lot of things that, you have to find which pocket it's in today, especially when it comes to kid stuff, that the Grit-It would help you organize. And just so everybody's clear, I do not work for Grit-It. They're paying me an exorbitant sum right now to market for them.
Hey, wait a minute. Do I get a cut out of that?
No! But yeah, so I agree. The messenger bag is a good way to go. I'm not, because everybody's going to be listening to this and thinking, dude, you just talked about Google Wallet. Why don't you just use the Google Wallet? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not ubiquitously taken everywhere I go. I still can't use my phone to pay for food. And I don't know that I like the idea of paying for things with my phone.
Really?
Not necessarily. If Dan were here, he'd talk about all the security things, right?
Right.
But what am I going to do if I start to rely on my phone to pay for things? What do I do when my battery dies and I can't even buy a new charger? I'm kind of up the creek without a paddle. Until they develop a universal, endless battery source or power source, like the sun.
It's funny you should mention that, although I won't interrupt you. I'll let you finish your thought first.
No, that's I'm out of steam.
Oh, okay, good. So another thing that came to mind of cool devices that I've kind of discovered this year, there's a company called Goal Zero, and it's goalzero.com. Zero is spelled out. They may have it both ways. I don't know, but I spell out the zero. And they do, by the way. Goalzero.com, whichever way you want to spell it. Anyhow, they have solar-powered kits that you can buy, ranging from small ones that can power your phone and charge it, all the way up to these huge things that basically charge a car battery, and you can run off your laptops or other big devices for a very long time, and including lights for a campsite or whatever else you would ever want to connect to it. Maybe not anything else, but they list small refrigerators and televisions and things like that you could run off of these extreme ones. But what's cool about these, there's several things that are cool, is that it's solar panels. It's designed for outdoors people, which is generally not geeks, but every once in a while geeks have to go outside. And if you're hiking or going camping, or even they have a picture of someone out at the beach, I'm not sure that that's quite as necessary. But or if you want to be prepared for an emergency, you were talking about the guy who was selling generators. This isn't going to keep your house running, but at least if your phone battery is dead, you have an option to be able to charge it, even if the power's out for a couple of days. Of course, right. If the power's out for a couple of days, then your cellular tower's probably out too. But at least you can play Angry Birds or something while you're waiting for the power to come on.
This is cool.
It is cool, and the solar panels, they sell several different types of them, but most of them are flexible also, and are supposed to be very well built and designed to last. And and they fold up and are easy to travel with. And anyhow, I bought one actually, and next time we go camping, I certainly intend to play with it. I played with it a little bit just here, but it's not quite the same until you actually go outside to use it.
Yeah.
And actually, when I was testing it in the house, which I felt was a little bit ironic to set it up next to the window, and it worked. But
Did it?
yeah, it did.
Cool.
So it's a cool device. I really like it, and these seem to be really well built ones. I've been impressed with it.
Cool. Good deal. All right. Well, so there are some ideas for the geeks in your life as far as gifts are concerned. Like Mike said, all these links and products we talked about today will be available in the show notes at techsupportguy.com.
Right on. All right. Thank you very much. And we will be back with you next month. Again, that'll be on Sunday, December 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to techguide.com for computer support. Go to techguide.tv if you want to find out more about the show and the show notes and so on. And we'll see you then. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Welcome to the Tech Support Guy Show, episode 49, Sunday, November 13th, 2011. Things you don't really need for the holidays. Welcome to the Tech Support Guy Show, episode 49, Sunday, November 13th, 2011. Things you don't really need for the holidays.
I'll take that.
All right. Sold.
Oh, you're a good guy, Brian. All right. So, I meant to give you a chance to plug your new thing. Darn it.
No, that's all right.
I forgot about the plugs altogether. I'm sorry. I was just in such a rush to close it down.
Yeah, no, you gotta get places.
I completely forgot about that. I wanted to mention it, and I was even thinking that whenever we mention it, I got to mention it's not suitable for work, but completely forgot. We'll do it next time.
Okay, or throw it in the show notes if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that. And what I can do actually is, sometimes at the end of the show I put in a little blurb after the credits run. I'll actually include this,
okay.
and I'll say Brian's new podcast. What's it called? It's better than you thought. It's
better than you thought.
Better than you thought. BrianMHanson.com. Should I send him to /blog or?
Yeah, send me the /blog. Yeah, /blog.
Sweet. All right, man. I'll throw that in there. Thank you very much for hanging out here today. Appreciate it. And